The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Musa Dangiwa, has assured the Nigerian Police Force (NPF) of the federal government's commitment towards providing decent and affordable housing to its officers and men across the country. The minister gave the assurance while speaking at the maiden edition of the Nigerian Police Housing Summit held in Abuja. Dangiwa, who reiterated that President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda for housing is a holistic plan to ensure every Nigerian, including members of the force, has access to decent and affordable housing. Also said the theme of the summit's renewed hope for police housing in Nigeria speaks to the acknowledgement of past challenges, the commitment to overcoming them, and the optimism for a brighter future. Speaking through the Managing Director and Chief Executive of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria (FMBN), Shehu Usman Osidi, the minister reiterated the essence of the renewed hope cities and estates program and urged the force to embrace strategic partnerships with housing agencies like the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria and the Federal Housing Authority (FHA) towards realizing decent, affordable, and state housing for officers and men of the force. He outlined some of the outcomes of previous engagements between the Federal Mortgage Bank and the NPF to include over 2.9 billion in mortgage loans disbursed to 807 police beneficiaries, 2.1 billion disbursed to the Police Cooperative Housing Development Company to construct 806 housing units, as well as about 158 million naira disbursed to 22 beneficiaries under the rent to own platform, and over 289 million as home renovation loan to 316 officers. Other initiatives, according to Dangiwa, also include the funding of ongoing housing projects for the police cooperative in various locations in Abia, Adamawa, Ogun, Kaduna, and the FCT. The refund of a cumulative sum of over 1.8 billion naira to 18,619 retired police officers, as well as 3 billion naira in mortgage loans to the Nigerian Police Multi-Purpose Cooperative Society and Nigerian Police Force Property Development and Construction Company Limited for the construction of 236 housing units at Goza, Wawa District, Abuja.
The Nigerian Police Force is grappling with severe housing deficit. Years of neglect, insufficient budgetary allocations have led to the decay in the police infrastructure. You all know many officers and their families are living in an unsuitable environment that is unfit for human habitation. This situation not only jeopardizes their health, but it also dampens their morale and productivity. Housing is regarded as fundamental physiological human need and the foundation for developing a high human motivation. And recognizing this, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbotoku, PhD, MNI, has taken the initiative to convene this summit. The primary objective of which is to address the housing need of the police personnel. That is, provide accessible and affordable house for the officers and men in order to significantly improve their living condition. The summit, therefore, is intended to provide an opportunity for stakeholders to engage in constructive brainstorming on strategies to actualize the theme, the renewed hope for police housing in Nigeria. Tackling the housing need of personnel will no doubt boost their morale, enhance their dignity, and ultimately improve their optimal effectiveness. And this is in line with the IGC's vision to have a professionally competent, service-driven, and people-friendly Nigerian police.
So the strategy is to create that ecosystem that drives supply, that drives effective demand, because people will tell me that, there's demand, but it is not effective. But there's a way you can make the demand to be effective. That effective demand and must be supported by relentless advocacy. Because part of what I've found wanting is that the advocacy driving police housing has not been relentless as it should be. And in doing that, all over the world, wherever you have been able to deliver on affordable housing, it is always through a coalition of critical participants in the housing value chain. And that is exactly what we have also tried to do. And that is what this summit is all about. Bring together critical participants, the financiers, the government, the regulators, the developers, the suppliers, the building material suppliers, and let them see the opportunities. I mean, until I came into this role, I always just used to look at Nigerian police housing as one of those things. It was when I got here, working for some weeks, that I saw that there are significant opportunities here. You know, so we built that collaborative platform. Next, please. Now, how are we trying to execute this? What are the building blocks? You know, there are about 4 building blocks that we're trying to put together by way of strategy. Number one is stakeholder engagement, which is what we're doing here today. Selection of development partners, we've been doing that. Resourcing and capacity building. I'm committed, you know, to ensuring that the guys who work in Nigerian Police Property Development Company Limited, they receive the best of training and mentoring, not just from me, but from my peers, the industry, and I can bring anybody to them. And we already have that in the offing.
We believe that this event will be a big step in addressing the very important housing needs of the officers of the Nigerian Police Force. We believe it's going to bring together, or it's already bringing together it's already bringing together reputable real estate developers who are present here, closer to the officers of the Nigerian Police Force, and providing them with safe, secure, and quality housing solutions.
Earlier in his address, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, alluding to the importance of the summit, disclosed that the housing capacity of the force is about 10 to 12% of the over 400,000 workforce, and due to long years of neglect, the existing and available barracks accommodations are largely unsuitable and incompatible with 21st century policing architecture that we desire to build. He noted that the summit was convened as a platform to discuss and dilate ideas to actualize their vision of accessible and affordable housing for officers and men to the Nigerian police, and will be held on a yearly basis henceforth.
Architect. Presently, housing capacity meets only about 10% of the needs of our more than 400,000 strong workforce. Moreover, years of neglect have rendered existing barracks accommodation largely inadequate, failing to meet the demands of modern 21st century policing. In the past, the Nigerian Police Force has launched initiatives aimed at addressing these shortfalls, including the establishment of the Nigerian Police Force Property Development and Construction Company Limited, and forging partnerships with various state governments, government bodies, sister organizations, and private sector developers. Unfortunately, the impact of these efforts has been minimal, highlighting the urgent need for a strategic reassessment and a revamp of our execution framework to adequately meet our officers' housing needs. Today marks the launch of the inaugural Nigerian Police Housing Summit under the theme Renewed Hope for Police Housing in Nigeria, and supported by sub-themes such as accessible housing, an indispensable welfare tool, and pragmatic solutions for police housing. This summit is envisioned as a critical platform for discussing and developing strategies to realize our goal of providing accessible and affordable housing to our officers and men. This premier event also aims at fostering comprehensive solutions for the swift delivery of quality, cost-effective housing solutions, both rental and owned, for our force members, active and retired. The objectives of the Nigeria Police Housing Summit 2024 are manifold, and these include to articulate a vision of effective and efficient housing as an essential tool for the welfare of the Nigerian Police Force men and officers. To create a dynamic interactive platform that brings together key stakeholders in the housing sector, fostering collaboration towards achieving our housing vision. To propose actionable strategies for the rapid delivery of affordable housing. To facilitate the financing needed for the sustainable development and demand of affordable housing. To align the housing initiatives of the Nigerian Police Force with eco-friendly and sustainable practices, to provide a venue for networking and strategic collaboration, creating synergies among stakeholders that will support the implementation of our housing vision. To support the development of the Police Housing Association as a key mechanism for delivering housing to the force. A critical discussion point will be the establishment of a 100 billion naira police housing fund.
Reporting from Nigeria's state capital, Soy Bifa Jagrich, Top Accolade News.